Hi there, welcome to episode 2 of the Blue Zone. We're your hosts, Ross and Will. This week we've got some huge results to talk about.
Yeah, so we've got some big results which took place both in the Cup and the League last week. We're going to be chatting a little bit to men's rugby in the Blue Zone this afternoon, and we've also got to chat about what's been happening around Abertay Sport, so make sure you join us for that. So we've had lots going on at Abertay Sport this week across all the different programmes and clubs, haven't we, Will?
Yeah, that's right. First we had the dance team who were in the capital competing. Heard they did a very good job. Next up we had the women's rugby who were in Glasgow for the NDL. This is the first of the semester and the development's coming on fantastically.
We had the launch of our Free Sport Fridays programme last week and it was a fantastic success. We had some great activities with high numbers, lots of music, lots of excitement, and we're hoping for another busy week, so please come back for that if you were on there on the day. And we also had Varsity Cup Scotland, which was a touch tennis event. Now this was held up at Disk and it was a national event with over 80 students from around Scotland come and take part in the sport, which was supported by Abertay Sport. Loads and loads more coming up this week. We'll get to that towards the end. I think it's time to head to the results. What about you?
Yeah. So touching the results from last week, we had a really close match against men's basketball ones in Glasgow Cali, narrowly losing 71-72. But on the other hand, we had women's football up at Craigie, destroying St Andrews 3s 7-0.
Unfortunately, golf had a tough loss. They were 7-1 down to Heriot Watt in the Cup at the weekend, but netball had some fantastic results. They on Saturday took the league match against St Andrews 59-58, so very well done, really tight score that. And then on Tuesday they were in the Cup in action against Edinburgh Fours and they won 70-63 up at Mayfield. Well done girls, fantastic. This week in the Blue Zone we've got Abertay Rugby Club along with us, who have had a fantastic season both on and off the pitch. They've managed to amalgamate both the men's and women's teams into one club this year, and they've got a fantastic new coach development pathway which is growing every single week. We have two of the leading lights of the club along with us this morning. We've got Will, the club president, and we've got Callum, the first team captain of the men's team. Boys, how's it going?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Good.
No bother at all. Let's talk about the season. How's the season been going for the first team, Callum?
It's rough start to be honest, but come Christmas time we're hopefully looking to turn it round, and we came back and won the round of 16 in the
Yeah,
cup.
last 16.
So, okay.
Now we're playing Glasgow this week.
Oh yeah, my home time.
Yeah, well,
after last week's debacle, I'm pretty sure I'm still Team Tay, don't worry, Will. Don't worry.
I hope so.
So, in terms of the second team, they're new this season into Bucks, aren't they? And I think they've had quite a tough start, is that correct?
Well, we've noticed that on the development side of things, they're really flourishing.
Yeah.
They're doing a fantastic job, in and out of training. The motivation's there, the commitment's there, and from what I've been hearing, they're actually doing the bits. Good. On the pitch. They're really, sticking it to the other teams, because no one's really expecting us to go too far with the twos, but we're really kind of showing people up with them, which is what we've wanted.
it's perfect as well because there's so many new boys that have never played rugby before, and they're coming in and they're pushing boys that have played rugby for 5-10 years. So
that's
there's a lot of
they're challenging for places potentially as well in the first team.
Well, that's the aim, and the next sort of half of the season we'll be looking to push
great.
some of the two boys
Brilliant.
into the ones. So.
And so obviously we've got the women's team as well, who are competing in the National Development League?
Yep.
So let's talk about that a little bit. What does that involve?
So the National Development League has been set up by the SRU, which is workshops most weekends, where in the morning you'll do training and skills, a new element of the game being brought in. Then in the afternoon you all play in respective teams, whether it's a game of 10s or 12s depending on numbers. But last weekend we were in Glasgow, and it was only a fixture this time. There was no kind of development behind it because we're in the second half of the year now, so it's all games. But the women's team are developing hugely. We're getting numbers every week. It's kind of maintaining itself, so really happy with it.
I feel as if we couldn't mention the women's rugby team without, of course, mentioning their star player Emilia, who at the moment is currently in Brisbane representing the Sweden in the Sevens national. Is it a national event?
Yeah, it's on the back of the Brisbane Sevens.
Brilliant.
And she's doing fantastic.
Emilia is obviously a very shining example for anyone who wants to take part in sport, not just from a female perspective, but also from a male perspective, I feel, because she does have that kind of unique trait about her that she's hard working. She's almost like a role model for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think myself and Callum would agree that Amelia is absolutely terrifying.
Not going it. No.
Sorry, Amelia, if you're watching.
I would really. I can think of better things to do than play rugby against Amelia. She's just.
Will we call that a compliment?
No, we'll call that a compliment. She's a prime example of an athlete, and we've all got a lot of respect for her, and we will support her a lot.
Wish her all the best, obviously, in Brisbane this week.
Absolutely, and it'd be great if some of our boys could take an example off of her and show up to the gym at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds as if rugby's a big part of our lives, a big part of your lives as well. What does it mean to you? Well, what's the reason for being involved in rugby from all this time?
For me personally, it's a team feel. So I came uni 4 years ago, and first thing I done was sign up for rugby because I know it's a group of boys that you can trust and have fun with. Your best mates, coming fit. Never knew this boy at the start with. Now look at me, I'm sitting on the couch in the blue zone. That's where I wanted to be.
Not that you've been asked or dragged here to sit next to him. Well, what does rugby mean to you?
Well, I played for 14 years through school pathways, and I came to uni and I never really felt at home at uni until I joined the rugby team. I just felt being part of a sports club, it's always a huge community. You meet lots of lifelong friends that you're going to be chatting to for the rest of your life. When we went away for Christmas, I was saying to a few of the boys, I can't wait to get away from you guys because I see them all the time. Every single day we end up doing something together. It's just the bond that kind of rugby makes. Any sport is the same, kind of the tight-knit group that you'll make because you're all going through the same thing together. So I would say to anyone who doesn't play sport at uni that joining a club it's probably the best way that you can meet people. It's a prime example of what a collection of people can do together under something that's bigger than themselves. So yeah, for me it means everything.
That's quite deep.
Oh, thank you. No, cheers.
Was that Shatner? Or?
No, but really it is everything to me personally, at least.
That's the one thing of advice I'd give is join a sports club. It doesn't have to be rugby. It doesn't have to be.
That's a nice takeaway message, definitely.
Anyway,
so if anyone who's thinking about sport was watching this right now and hearing what you've got to say about how it's impacted you, it's definitely positive, and that's the message. Is by all means, guys, if you're thinking about it, go and join a club. Doesn't matter which sport you picked, or if it's the Free Sport Fridays programme, get involved because it can have this kind of impact, and it's fantastic that the boys are still able to hear and talk about it in the manner that they do. Can I talk a little bit about some of your backgrounds? Parsons, you're from Fife, which I'm sorry to hear about. What kind of rugby setup was there in Fife for you when you were growing up?
Well, I'm from Kirkcaldy, which is lovely. It's a lovely place actually.
Capital of Fife.
Capital of Fife.
Capital and the Kingdom of Fife.
So I've played rugby since I was 8 years old, and I've always played for Kirkcaldy Rugby Club until 2 years ago when I moved into Dundee and I decided to sack it off. So yeah, my rugby background's been pretty good. I've done the same sort of thing as well. I went through pathways and stuff like that, and then ended up here. So obviously the rumours are that your sporting hero is Neil Turnbull. Well, who's your sporting hero?
His younger brother, John.
Is he the better rugby player?
Oh yeah.
Well, Neil's actually had to go to A&E today because John's broke his tooth at the weekend playing against him, so that was a personal highlight for me.
Brotherly love on the pitch.
That's it, that's fantastic.
Brotherly love on the pitch.
Superb. Last question for you guys is, obviously we've still got a few fixtures left in this season. How ambitious are you as a club that we can really, really meet the success that we've had in years gone by? How well is Abertay Rugby going to meet or do this year?
Well, last year obviously we were so close to winning the league, but it's actually the highest we've ever placed in bucks. So hopefully we can replicate that again this year and finish in third position, and then the cup's another story. I'm leaving this year, so the main aim for me right now is to lift someone up at the end of the year.
Brilliant.
Yeah. For me, the way I stand on it, with the men's first 15, we need to turn it around. We need to do all we can. Just lifting something up at the end would be fantastic. Historically, we've always done quite well in the cup. We've always placed, really high up, making the semis. I think 1 year they made the final.
Yeah, 1 year they made the final.
But got knocked at the end. in the broader perspective, what I'm wanting is just the most amount of development from the whole club. So the second 15 boys coming through, we kind of want that river of people coming in, getting good, getting into the first, and just developing the rugby. The women's is the same. One day I would really just hope for the women's to be in a Bucks league. At the moment, unfortunately, it's not feasible because of the numbers and money and everything. But just keeping it going, really. Development.
So it sounds like we've got a very competitive setup at Abertay Rugby. You guys obviously like competition yourselves, yeah? So that's good because we've got a head-to-head challenge for you coming up.
Fantastic.
Okay. Looking forward to that. Guys, in this week's head-to-head challenge, we're going to play a game called Me or Him, okay? In this game, I will be asking some questions, and your job is to flash your answers. If you just show the camera what we've got me or him based on what you think is the correct answer. Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. First question. Who is the better rugby player? Excellent, big start, big start. Question 2. Who can eat the spicier food? What's going on there? Not like spicy food?
I love spicy food. He's got more of a tolerance than I do.
Question 3. Who likes near Turnbull more? Oh, unlucky Neil. We thought we would have put your guy as well. Question 4. Who is the hardest working between the two of you in the gym?
Gym.
What's a gym?
The guy that holds me. What's a gym? Who's most likely to get an A in an assignment at university? Then finally, who's most likely to be a millionaire? Agreed again. I think I'm going to have to be your pal and not yours. Guys, listen, thanks very much for coming into the Blue Zone this week. You've enjoyed your time with us on the sofa?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thanks, Parsons.
Cheers, thanks a lot, mate.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks.
Coming up next are the fixtures, guys. Make sure you stay tuned for that, okay? Looking ahead to this week's fixtures, we've got some big ones coming up for the university. The Tennis 2s are playing Aberdeen 5s down in Division 4A of the Scottish Tennis Bucks, and we've got the Tennis 1s playing against Aberdeen 2s in what's set to be a very tight fixture.
And the Rugby First team are playing in their rescheduled game against Glasgow Uni 2s, and that's at home in the Cup quarter-finals. The Rugby Second team are against St Andrews 4s, and that's away on the road.
Both our men's and women's hockey teams are away from home this week. The women are away to play Strathclyde in the rescheduled cup fixture from last week, and the men are away taking on Heriot Watt in the cup as well.
And men's basketball 1s are at home against Napier 1s, and the volleyball, the men are home against Edinburgh Uni 2s.
The women's football have a possible league decider against Strathclyde 1s, and the men's football 2s have a game away against the Robert Gordon's University. Unfortunately this week, the Abertay Sport family tragically lost one of its members. Ross Cook was an influential part of Abertay Football Club and was very highly respected within the Abertay sport community. His loss will be felt right throughout the university, and should you feel you need any support, please do not hesitate to contact the Abertay sports team or your academic curriculum managers.